الانفال. Page number 182, verse number 41. سورة الانفال. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. واعلموا أنما غنمتم من شيء فأن لله خمسه وللرسول ولذي القربى واليتامى والمساكين وابن السبيل إن كنتم آمنتم بالله وما أنزلنا على عبدنا يوم الفرقان يوم التقى الجمعان والله على كل شيء قدير. إذ أنتم بالعدوة الدنيا وهم بالعدوة القصوى والركب أسفل منكم ولو تواعدتم لاختلفتم في الميعاد ولكن ليقضي الله أمرا كان مفعولا ليهلك من هلك عن بينة ويحيى من حي عن بينة وإن الله لسميع عليم. إذ يريكهم الله في منامك قليلا ولو أراكهم كثيرا لفشلتم ولتنازعتم في الأمر ولكن الله سلم إنه عليم بذات الصدور. وإذ يريكموهم إذ التقيتم في أعينكم قليلا ويقللكم في أعينهم ليقضي الله أمرا كان مفعولا وإلى الله ترجع الأمور. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا لقيتم فئة فاثبتوا واذكروا الله كثيرا لعلكم تفلحون. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه. The first verse talking about the war booty, the war spoil. Whatever a Muslim collected from the war. Allah says, wa'lamu means know. When you talk to the group of people, you say wa'lamu, know, acknowledge. When you talk to one person, you say i'lam. This is the big difference. In English, no for one, for two, for many, right? In Arabic, it's different. I'lam, when you talk to a man. When you talk to a woman, i'lami. When you talk to a group of people mixed, or only men, wa'lamu. So now, i'lam for a man, one man. I'lami for one girl. I'lama for two, either boys or girls or one and one. I'lama. I'lamu for plural mixed, or only for men. I'lamna, it's very complicated. I'lamna means now for only women. So one more time, when you speak, when you talk to somebody, you want to acknowledge him with something, you want to say to him now, that so and so, you say i'lam, one man. One woman, i'lami. Two, either men or woman, i'lama. Group of mixed men and women, more than two, i'lamu. Only men, same, i'lamu. Only women, i'lamu. Anyway, Allah said to all Muslim community, young and old, men and women, He said, now that whatever of war booty that you may gain should be distributed that way. Number one, 1/5 of it is assigned to Allah. Does Allah take any? Means for the sake of Allah. Allah gave the Prophet ﷺ some wealth or money with flexibility to give it to whomever he wants, for the masjid, for the poor, for anyone he likes, like mosque, like a school, like army, wherever, for the sake of Allah. That's the number one. And messenger the same, and the messenger. If the Prophet wants something for him, for his own family, he can take from him. So either for Allah, for any multi-purposes, for the mosque, for a school, for the army, for his family, to construct a masjid, to construct a house for the Prophet, he can take 1/5. And to the near relatives of the Prophet ﷺ, you know why? Do you know why? Because they are not allowed to take any of a charity. Any charity that was donated, anyway, anyhow, the Prophet and his family didn't take any kind of charity. Do they accept gifts? Yes. But Allah forbade them to take any of charity as a donation. That's why Allah gave them portion of the war booty to be given. One portion to Allah and His Messenger, and he can spend that much of money as he wants, and the other 1/5 to be especially for the relatives, for the family members of the Prophet ﷺ. Number 3, the third 1/5 to the orphan of the Muslim community in large. See how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, each time He talk about charity, He mentioned the poor, and He mentioned by name orphans. And then number 4 for the poor, and the number 5, which is the last one, to the wayfarer. Somebody was traveling, he lost his money, or the money are gone, and he wants to go home. We have to sponsor him, give him some amount of money so he can go back and reach his destination. So you have 5 portions for the war booty to be divided. First one to Allah and His Messenger. The second one for the Prophet's family member, relatives, not the Prophet, family members, uncles, grandchildren, daughters, cousin, all the family, all the Prophet. Because why? If somebody asks you why, because the Prophet and all of his family members, close and far, they are not allowed to take any of a charity. Okay? Number 3, to orphans. Number 4, to the poor in general. Number 5, to the wayfarer, whoever is lost, whoever lost his money, and he wants to go back, we have to sponsor him. Okay. We have 2 different words. You remember in the first verse in this chapter, we talk about El-Anfal. And now we are talking about Ghanima. And there is another chapter talk about Fay. So Al-Anfal, wherever was taken by Muslims from the enemy, the same way. Ghanima refers to the war spoils captured from the disbelievers. Whatever Muslim take from the non-Muslim after the war or during the war, this is ghanima. But fay, another word, it refers to the property of the disbelievers that they forfeit. You remember when the Prophet ﷺ had an agreement with the Jews in Medina, and afterward they betrayed the Prophet and they broke their covenant with the Prophet, and they have an evil plot with the idolaters against the Prophet, and they want to kill the Prophet and all Muslims, and they blockaded Al-Medina, the city. So the Prophet ordered them, now I'm not the one who broke the covenant, you did. Not only that, you plot and you plan to kill me and to kill all Muslims who live in the Al-Medina. You have to leave. So they forfeited a lot of things behind. Their farms, their houses, their businesses, a lot of things. That's called fay in Arabic. Both are taken from the non-Muslims, but the first one means ghanima, the war spoil, taken after war. But the second one was forfeited by the disbelievers for any reason that has a different way of distribution. Okay? So Allah said, even after the Prophet's death, you have to think if there is anyone. Do you know anybody among the Prophet's family still alive? Yes. Because we had a family for many thousand years ago, right? Everyone, we are coming from a family. Every one of us. Everyone comes from a family. The first family was Adam. And Adam has a children. The children married. They have a grandchildren, that grandchildren, great-grandchildren, until, so even the Prophet ﷺ, after his death, he has a children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren, till now, yes, he had a family. But there are many people claim that they are the Prophet's family, but they are not. It doesn't matter. Me and you and everybody can be the Prophet's family. It doesn't mean I should stay home, doing nothing, working nothing, saying, yes, I am the Prophet's family, I have to take 1/5 of it. We have no war anymore. We have no war supply. You should find a job. The Prophet ﷺ said, no one of the mankind in general, and Muslim in particular, earn money better than for him than to work and to earn your living and to make your living from your own work. This is the beloved income that Allah loved the most. And the Prophet ﷺ, he used to work. Prophet Dawood, was granted a very great kingdom, authority, wealth, and his son also Solomon, a lot of wealth. So one time, Prophet David, and I have to say David because for the brother to understand, Dawood, he asked Allah once, oh Allah, do you love anyone on the earth than me? Because you gave me what you never give to anybody, neither before nor after. He said, yes. Better than me? Yes. Who's he? Anyone worth by his hand, by his experience, to make his living by hand. You were given everything for free. I gave you everything for free. You did nothing. Yes, you are good. I gave you that. But if somebody is a Muslim like you, and he acts hardly to make his living, yes, he's better than you. But I'm an old man, oh Allah, I'm an old man. He said, once you intend that, it's good. I'm going to teach you a very hard work, but I'm going to make it easy for you. You know what job did he work? Blacksmith. Oh my God. It needs some muscles, power, and young people can work in that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, we softened for him the steel. It was very like cotton in his hand. The steel was like a cotton in his hand. He can form in a design, in anything made of steel like cotton. Allah said in the Quran. And afterwards Allah said, Remember, oh David or Dawood, that working for the life of this world is considered and one of the great part of worship to me. You have to contribute, building a civilization for your country, for your state. You have to work. You have to do something. Whatever comes easy, goes easy. That's why you have to teach your children, brother. It doesn't matter how much millions you have. How many millions you have, brother? Alhamdulillah. Okay, it doesn't matter. Teach your children how to work and to prove their knowledge, their determination by work. And tell them, in the summer, use your young people to work. Find them a work. Help them. Tell them, if you don't work, I'm not going to pay your tuition. You have to prove yourself to Allah and to yourself. Be a man. Go work. Take advantage of time and power. Get some experience, life experience, to understand how we make money and how you spend the money. All of that are very important, brother. Wallah, it's very important. Whatever comes easy, will go easy. So to be grateful to Allah, thanking Allah, and also to be grateful to the parent, to understand how they work hard, to secure them financially and emotionally and religiously, they have to do some work during the summer. Until they are graduated, they have a life experience, and at the same time, they will use the money and the income in a wise way. Okay? So Allah said, distribute the war spoil the way that Allah explained to us if you really believe in Allah and that which we sent down to your servant, means the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Imam al-Bukhari. Imam al-Bukhari is the greatest one who narrated and collected the wise saying of the Prophet and put it in one book called Sahih al-Bukhari, the authentic ahadith Prophet saying in one book. He said, the Prophet ﷺ said, Inna Allah amarakum bi arba'. Allah has commanded you with 4 things. Al-Iman, with Iman. Iman means to believe in God, to believe in His angels, all prophets, in the angels, in the Day of Judgment, and to believe that everything is destined by Allah. 6. And to witness that Allah is the only one who is daily worthy of worship, and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is His final messenger. So the first one, Al-Iman wa shahadatu an la ilaha, both are the same. Number 2, to perform your daily prayer. Number 3, to give a charity 2.5% yearly. If you save $3,000 plus for 12 months, 12 Islamic months, what's the difference between the regular month and the other one? Do you know any difference? Huh? Yeah, the difference, 12 days different. 12 days difference between the Islamic calendar and the other one, less. That's why if you delay payment 12 days, that's not good. Once the 12 Islamic month gone, right away, you have to pay. If you save $3,000 plus for 12 months, what about if I had, since last year I had $10,000, but at the end of the year it became $2,000, nothing to pay. Okay? What about if I started with $2,000 and with $10,000? Better to pay 2.5. How much is the 2.5% of the 10,000? Very quickly. 250. 250 is not that. Somebody asked me today, shall I pay for the 401k because I'm still working, I have that much saved in my account, shall I pay? I said, brother, it's better to give. How much did you save? $100,000? Okay. 2,500 will be given. Allah will bless your wealth. Allah will bless your family. Allah will bless your children. Allah will bless your business. Allah will bless everything. So just give, even if it's not obligated, just give extra charity for the sake of Allah. And don't deny yourself from taking some reward from Allah, helping others as Allah helped you. So even if it's not, if you save $100,000, mashallah, better to give. Better to give. Okay. So Allah said, the Prophet ﷺ said, Allah has commanded you with faith, with the two testimonials and declaration to believe in Allah and His Messenger. That's one. To perform your daily prayer, to give a charity 2.5%, and the fourth one, to give 1/5 of the war spoil to Allah and His messengers. And as Allah said, the second one for the Prophet's relatives, the third one for the orphan, the fourth one to poor, and the fifth to the wayfarer. Okay? وَمَا أَنزَلْنَا عَلَى عَبْدِنَا يَوْمَ الْفُرْقَانِ. On the day of Al-Furqan, you know what's the day of Al-Furqan? The battle of Badr, on the day of Badr. Allah showed you a great sign. You were very little and you were very weak. And the enemy were very strong. And they are 3 times more than you in numbers. And then Allah gave you victory over them. So remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at that day distinguished between the truth and falsehood. And Allah is able to do all things. As Allah showed you a sign from Him, remember, if you don't follow His command, if you exceeded the limit of Allah, He can punish you severely. And remember that Allah said on the battle of Badr, remember Allah said, إِذْ أَنْتُمْ بِالْعُدْوَةِ الدُّنْيَا وَهُمْ بِالْعُدْوَةِ الْقُصْوَى. When you were on the near side of the valley, camping, so in the closest entrance of the valley towards Al-Madinah, you were in a very small area. You set up your tent in a very small area towards Al-Madinah. While the idolaters were camped on the farther side towards Mecca, and the caravan on the ground lower than you. If you had made a mutual appointment to meet, you would certainly have failed in the appointment. By yourself, by your experience, by your power, there is no way to win. Because the location that you have taken and the numbers and the weapon that you had was not enough to fight these people. But Allah said, وَلَكِنْ لِيَقْضِيَ اللَّهُ أَمْرًا كَانَ مَفْعُولًا. But Allah had decreed that He would bring glory to Islam and Muslims. And Allah promised believers what? Victory. وَلَيَنْصُرَنَّ اللَّهُ مَنْ يَنْصُرُ. Allah will give His victory to those who stand firm with faith and no way for their enemy to defeat them at all. Ka'b ibn Malik was one of the Sahaba, one of the Prophet's companions. He said, the Prophet and Muslims march to intercept Quraysh caravan. Because you know why? To take the caravan for what? Because the idolaters took their houses, properties, lands, money, businesses, jewelry, everything. And they drove out Muslims from Mecca to another place. And they took everything. The question is, did Muslim have right to take all the goods that were in that caravan? Yes. Yes. If somebody stole your house, and you know him and you met him somewhere, and he has a truck, inside the truck there was some things belong to him. Will you take it or not? You will take it. you see your own stuff there, your phone or your wife's jewelry, you'll take it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, فَمَنْ اعْتَدَى عَلَيْكُمْ فَاعْتَدُوا عَلَيْهِ بِمِثْلِ مَا اعْتَدَى عَلَيْكُمْ. Whoever attack you, will you defend yourself, or you say, okay, come, do whatever you want? What about if you are able to call 911 or to defend, or you have some power to defend? You have to defend. So the Prophet ﷺ, because if he didn't do that, they might attack them in the other state that they live in. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the Prophet, it's not your choice, it's my order, my command. Go in this area. They had a great caravan, full of money, full of goods, full of wealth. Take it. But the question is, did the Prophet take it? No. The caravan were saved after the war, because there was a war. The Prophet never planned for war. Allah commanded him to go to take your right back. But when the war started, many people were killed. At that moment, the war is not. It's not only a few hours, take the whole day. At that time, some of the idolaters were able to save the caravan to Mecca. But Allah wants to tell us, you have to defend your land, your right, till the end. Till the end. So, but Allah made them meet their armed enemy without opponent, without any plan, without any strategy. Zubayr, he said, Zubayr, Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, Ali. They said, the Prophet ﷺ sent Ali, Sa'd, and Zubayr, and several others, the Prophet ﷺ companion, to spy the beggars. They captured 2 boys. The boys, when we say boys, means laborers, workers, are not fighters. One of them was a servant, slave, of Sa'id ibn al-As. And the second one was a servant and a slave for Bani al-Hajjaj. 2 slaves. From time to time, in any country, the FBI, like this, intelligence department, to secure the population. The Prophet ﷺ had that system. From time to time, the border of Al-Madinah should be checked out by some people. So the Prophet sent 3 people, Ali, Sa'd, Zubayr, to secure the border of Medina for nobody to come. So they captured 2 boys, 2 slaves. One was a slave of Sa'id ibn al-As, and the second one was a slave of Bani al-Hajjaj. While they were bringing water for Quraysh, when Quraysh came and idolaters after the Battle of Badr, before the Battle of Badr started, when they captured these 2 people, while they bring water from the water well, they took them to the Prophet ﷺ. Sahaba started interrogating the boys, asking them to whom they belong, for whom do you work, to whom do you belong to. Both of them said that they were employees bringing water for Quraysh's army. So the Prophet's companions were so upset with the answer. They thought that they are spies. You have to tell the truth. Since they thought that the 2 boys belonged to Abu Sufyan, so they beat the 2 boys. They start to beat them. And finally, the Prophet at that time was praying until the Prophet ﷺ finished his prayer. So the Prophet ﷺ said, why did you beat them? Come over. And the Prophet asked the two boys, the two slaves, to come over. And he asked them, to whom you belong? They said, to Quraysh. Quraysh means the Quraysh's army. Where are they? They said they are behind this hill that you see on the far side of the valley. So the Prophet ﷺ said, how many are they? They said, we do not. If you want to know the number of the army that, coming to fight, and they said, we don't know, what are you going to do? The Prophet was smart. You know what did he say? Okay. How many camels they slaughter to eat every day? The number of camels that they slaughter will prove how many they eat, how many people eat. They said 9 to 10 cows, camels. You know what the Prophet ﷺ said? They are between 900 and 1,000, and it was true. It was true. That means each camel cover from 90 to 100. Camel, right? Can cover that number? Yes. Their stomach were not like ours. So the Prophet ﷺ said to his companions, they are between 900 and 1,000. And the Prophet ﷺ said, which leaders of Quraysh are accompanying the army, coming with the army? They told Utbah, Shaybah, Hakim ibn Hizam, Al-Harith ibn Amr. You know why? If the noble of Quraysh came with the army, that means the battle is very serious. They are not kidding. If the noble came, then it's not a joke. You know what the Prophet ﷺ said? هذه مكة قد ألقت إليكم بأفلاذ أكبادها. This is Mecca. It has brought to you the most precious sons and leaders. Allah said, لِيَهْلِكَ مَنْ هَلَكَ عَنْ بَيِّنَةٍ وَيَحْيَى مَنْ حَيَّ عَنْ بَيِّنَةٍ. So that those who were to be destroyed might be destroyed after a clear evidence. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, you know the story that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent 1,000 fighters from where? From the heaven. What kind of fighter are they? Angels. And we talked about that last time. One of the Prophet's companions said, each time I raised my sword to fight, I found the person before me was destroyed, was collapsed. Who did kill him? When the Prophet recited for them the verse, Allah inspired to the angels, only when you want to kill the disbelievers, strike the neck and fingers, only. Don't kill him anywhere else. After the war was gone, and the Prophet passed by, and he told them, whenever he sees the sign, the angel in the neck, this was killed by the angel. This is by the angel. This is by the angel. On the finger, this is by the angel. This is by the angels. And Allah said, the more you are strong in faith, don't worry about your enemy. Nobody can defeat you. Nobody can destroy you. Allah will defend you. Allah will help you. One more time, the Prophet wasn't going to fight. How come? The Prophet had 300 something with 100 camels? Such army going to fight? 100 camel and 300 plus. With no ride, that long distance to fight? How are they going to fight while they are walking in the ground? While 1,000 fighters came from Mecca to fight Muslims. So Allah said, you were forced to fight. But anyway, Allah made you victorious, and Allah is all hearer, all known. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, do you know what happened? The Prophet had a dream. إِذْ يُرِيكَهُمُ اللَّهُ فِي مَنَامِكَ قَلِيلًا. Allah showed you all details about that battle and showed you the number of enemy as little numbers. But if Allah showed them as they will be, you cannot fight. You're going to die because of fear, because of, you're going to be scared. So Allah showed them as very little. Showed the Prophet ﷺ in his dream that they are very little. وَلَوْ أَرَاكَهُمْ كَثِيرًا. If Allah showed them as they were, you will fail. And you will argue, struggle, and you will be discouraged. You cannot. If you tell somebody, you should kill 3. Every one of you should fight 3. 3? One person I cannot fight. What about 3? It's too much. While I have no right, walking in the ground, and 3 people, 3 fighters on their horses or camel fight me, how can I win? No one can believe it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it all of a sudden, but only the Prophet had a dream all about what happened. He saw it like a video before the war started. لِيَقْضِيَ اللَّهُ. So that Allah might accomplish a matter already ordained by Allah. If Allah ordains something, will happen no matter what. Sometimes when something happened to us, if I do that, that's why the Prophet ﷺ forbid us to think that way. If I would do so and so can happen. It was my fault. It was that. Whatever happened is happened. Don't keep blaming yourself. Don't keep living in regret. Say Alhamdulillah. Allah has destined that. Alhamdulillah. And that's what Allah wants. But before you act, you have to do your homework. You have to think. Having different opinions, counseling, praying to Allah, guide me to that right decision, and afterwards, whatever happened, you like it or not, that's what Allah has destined. If you have a cup of water and fall down in the ground, and the ground absorbs that water, if you keep crying next to that, to what happened the whole life, what's going to happen? Is there any way the water can come back to the bottle? Then think about what's the next. What's the next step to do? But keep crying, yeah, it was my fault. It was because sometimes it's a culture, brother. I don't know. If somebody has an, any event, wedding party, Aqiqah, has a newborn baby and he had serve the food for some guests. Anything happen? Yeah, you know why? Among them there is an evil eye person. What happened? My son gets sick. My wife gets sick. My car had an accident. This happened. This happened. All of these are incorrect. Everything this is destined by Allah. Nothing happened in this world, little or large or big or small, but destined by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As destined by Allah. Some people during Safar, some people think that Safar is the month of evil. Don't buy a house during Safar. Don't marry during Safar. Don't invest during Safar. Don't travel during that month. Don't do that. Why? The Prophet ﷺ mentioned that month. He said it's one of the pre-Islamic culture and all is bad. Everything is destined by Allah. Allah is the Lord of that month and that month and that month and the whole month. So when you think that that month is the month of evil, Allah never created anything for evil. Allah created time, a blessed time. Evil is something in the brain. Something will bring it to our mind, to our heart. We are the one who can do good or can do evil. No, not Allah. Allah Rabbul Khair. Allah is the Lord of goodness. Is the Lord of peace. He named himself the most peaceful one. Showered the whole world with peace. Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't punish whoever disobeys him right away? Because of his mercy. His mercy covers everything, Muslim and non-Muslim. That's why he delayed the punishment to the day of judgment. I'm not gonna punish anyone for any mistake in this life. Not now. Why? I wish that he would change his mind. I wish that he would return back to me. So don't say the month, that evil person, that because, no. Everything is destined by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Urwa ibn Zubayr, you know Urwa ibn Zubayr? Zubayr is one of the beloved Prophet's companion. And the Prophet ﷺ said, لِكُلِّ نَبِيٍّ حَوَارِيٍّ. Each Prophet has a great supporter. And my great supporter is Zubayr. His son, he had many sons. One of them was Urwa. One time he visited the Khalifa. Khalifa is the successor, the president. Because the president seeks his knowledge, counseling, opinion, because Urwa was a very wise man. So one time he visited the Khalifa, according to the invitation of the Khalifa for him. And he felt pain in his leg. He didn't say somebody did a black magic to me, or an evil eye person, you know. No. They brought him a very specialist doctor to see. Many doctors. It was a consultation of doctors. All of them decided, because it was like a gangrene, sugar, and diabetic. And they said, the legs should be cut off. No other way. Otherwise, the disease is going to go to all of his body. So they suggest him to give him some medication, injection or whatever. He said, what medication? Let me pray. Pray. Yeah. But once I prostrate like my brother, give me a few minutes after prostration, and then do whatever you want to my leg. Once you start, Allah, start to pray. In the first prostration, they try to check him out if he's feeling. No. Harder. No. Harder. No. And they start the process. At that old time, 1400 years ago, there is no ICU, there is nothing. Before they start the surgery, they boil oil, a pan of oil, and they start. When it's boiled, they cut off the leg, and right away they put his eye in the boiled oil to stop bleeding. Oh my God, and he's still there in the prostration. After a while, he sat down, finished his prayer. Have you done? Didn't you feel what happened? He said, nothing. Because once I prostrate to God, my soul is attached to Allah. I don't feel anything in this life. My soul is there. My feeling, my attention, my spirit is with God. I'm communicating with God. I cannot be, distracted by anything except because I'm in conversation with God. Where's my leg? Alhamdulillah. All praises due to Allah. He gave me 2 hands and 2 legs. If I lost one, alhamdulillah, I still have 3. At the same moment, somebody came to Khalifa, where's Urwa? Where's Urwa? What happened? One of your sons, because he was a farmer, like the cowboys, has an ox, a big cow, attacked the son and killed him. At the same time. The same time that his leg was cut off, a news come to him says, one of your sons died. Allah gave me 4 children. I'm not going to think about it. It's hard. It's not easy. But I will keep thinking that Allah left for me 3. If Allah gave me 4 children and He took one, I'm still happy. He was very positive. Crying the whole life, it grieves the heart, yes. But do you think if we keep crying the whole life for the loss of our parents or our brother or whatever, gonna come back? Our Prophet cried for the loss of his son, but he was very strong. He said, the eye tears and the heart get grief. But at the same time, I'm not going to say except what please Allah. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi. We all are belong to Allah, and we all will return to Allah. Case is closed. It's not easy, but you have to remain strong and patient, because you remember when a woman was in the cemetery and the Prophet passing by, and she was yelling and screaming, crying, weeping a lot. So the Prophet said, sister, have some patience, calm down. She didn't realize that he was the Prophet. She said, go away, leave me alone, it's not your business. Do you know who did I lose? And the Prophet left. Somebody said, how did you talk to the Prophet that way? Was he the Prophet? She ran away behind the Prophet. I'm so sorry. Oh, I don't know that you was he? He said, sister, إنما الصبر عند الصدمة الأولى. The great reward will be given to the patient, to those who are patient when they receive such news. Remain patient. It's not easy. Let me tell you something happened last Tuesday. Not yesterday, the day before. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I showed to Brother Ali in my office. A Muslim brother from Indonesia, lives in Kentucky. Somebody attacked his son and killed him. 22 years old. 22 years old. The final hearing was last Tuesday, not yesterday, last week. And the judge gave him to be in prison for 13 years. Okay. But listen what the Muslim father said. He said, I have a message for the killer who killed my sons. In my religion, the best kind of a charity is forgiveness. Is to forgive others. My son, I forgive you. A Muslim father lost his son by a criminal, by a murderer. He said, I learned from my Islam, from my religion, that forgiveness is the best kind of charity. My son, I forgive you. But I want to tell you and educate you something from my perspective. The parent's dream is to have a child, boy or girl, and they wish to see him succeed. Wishing for him success, good education, good health, good marriage, good family, offspring. You destroy two families, not only my son. You destroy yourself and your family. So how many people you destroy? Me, my son, my mother, my wife, and yourself, your father and your mother. But God is the most merciful. His door never closed. Never get closed. During the time you're going to spend, you know what happened? The killer cried. The judge left the whole cry. How great man is he! How great man is he! Because wherever he lost it, cannot come back. He said, inshallah, I will take the reward, not here, in the other life. That's why, if the son or daughter of somebody passed away, Allah will ask his angels, well, he knows the best. What did my son, what did my servant say after the loss of his father, mother, but especially the son or daughter? You know what they say about the righteous servant? Oh Allah, he praised you and he said, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. We all are belong to Allah, and we all will return to Him. You know what Allah will say at that moment? Construct a big castle in the paradise for my servant as a result of his patience. That man was very strong. Was very strong. And he wished even for the killer to be guided. He wished for him success. And he said, I wish for you success. And I wish for your family success. The man hugged him. And he kept saying, I'm sorry, Dad. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. He said, sorry is not a word going to fix the problem. Your behavior, your regrets, your promise not to go to such crime again, to be a successful member in your society, to be a source of peace and happiness for yourself, for your family, and for the whole society. God created us for that purpose. He told him, God created us for that purpose. To be a source of reconciliation, a source of peace, a source of mercy, and a source of happiness for everybody. Be that man. Close. So everything, brother, was destined. The war was destined by Allah. To be here in America and live in our country is destined by Allah. Who one of us, if you go back to your childhood age, who one of us, knows that we are going to come to this and to see these people and to stay in that masjid? No one. Everything is distant. Everything is distant by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to shower us with His mercy. اللهم اهدنا واهد بنا واجعلنا سببا لمن اهتدى نجنا ونج بنا واجعلنا سببا لمن نجا أصلح لنا ديننا الذي هو عصمة أمرنا وأصلح لنا دنيانا التي فيها معاشنا وأصلح لنا آخرتنا التي إليها معادنا اجعل الحياة زيادة لنا في كل خير واجعل الموت راحة لنا من كل شر نسألك فعل الخيرات وترك المنكرات وحب المساكين وأن تغفر لنا وترحمنا وصل اللهم وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. جزاكم الله خيرا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك.